It's a tour you can take sitting home by yourself. It's time once more to go Jeff your shelf. Here they are, 15 shelves of wonder and awe, and I'll share it all with you in this series of videos. Today we'll be looking at Stephen King first editions and some limited editions. So get ready and buckle up and pour yourself a stout or a mint julep. Well, friends, the best place to begin is the beginning. And for me, it all began with this book. This book I'm holding in my hands right now. My mom bought it for me for a quarter at a garage sale and gave it to me and told me the movie is always worse than the book. And here's a prime example of that. And I read this book, then I saw the movie, and as beautifully shot as the movie was, it was a different story than what I read in here. And this book began my love of reading, my love of horror, and in particular, my love of Stephen King. So it really makes a whole lot of sense for me to begin any book tour with this book right here. And so it wasn't long after this book that I got a paperback of Pet Sematary, a paperback of Thinner, and then the hardcovers and all the other books that followed. And all those first editions. And that's pretty much where we're going to start. I only have limited space on my shelves. I have 15 shelves. And I can't fit all my first edition trade Stephen King books and all my limited editions. So I have a lot of trade editions in storage. But I selected a few here to be on my shelves as space permits. And these are the lucky few. Couple of notes. This is Blood and Smoke. It's an audiobook. Stephen King originally wrote these three short stories as audiobooks first, and they've since appeared in collections. But this was the first appearance anywhere, so I had to get it as a collector, and I loved it. If you've never heard Stephen King read 1408, you owe it to yourself if you're a Stephen King fan to hear that. It's really exceptional. 1408 stood out, and I'll never forget it. Lunch at the Gotham Cafe and In the Death Room were good, but nothing stuck with me as much as 1408. Rose Madder was the only Stephen King book I have yet to finish. I've started it and read it, and that's exactly where I left off. I could not finish it. I did not like it. And so it always remains out as something I might get back to someday. I might finish up, but don't hold your breath because you'll die. And then, so this is the pop-up book. Really, it's out here. This is A Girl Who Loved Tom Gordon pop-up book, and the only reason it's out here is because I don't know where else to put it. It was a novelty to buy, and it's kind of fun to have. But it's super cumbersome and, just kind of fun. And so here it is. And now I'm showing it to you, basically third overall. What an honor. So then here are the first editions that I've selected to keep out. Probably the most important one, of course, is It. This is the Glenn Chadbourne Dust Jacket. And this is the first hardcover book I ever read. It was given to me by an aunt who has since passed. Very special book. So this is the one I got for Christmas 1986, I believe. And I gulped it in 3 weeks. It became one of my favorite books. It's still one of my favorite books of all time. I got this Dust Jacket because the one below is so destroyed. I considered getting it rebound somehow. But, it's just such a special book as it is that I just couldn't do it. I couldn't change it that profoundly other than put this cool dust jacket on it. It is destroyed. I did not destroy it. Somebody I lent it to destroyed it, and I will not name that person. This edition of It I bought at a thrift shop less than a year ago for $2. It's a first edition. It's in good shape. Good shape. Worth every cent of the $2 I spent on it. This is a super sun-faded Eyes of the Dragon. I loved it. It is, again, when you own a book as a teenager and you still have it when you're a 40-ager, it is going to show some wear. I did not take as good care of my books then as I do now, and but it's in decent shape for Jamoke, of which I am. The Bachman book's awesome. This is the unabridged edition of The Stand. I got this as a high school graduation present, and then I threw, of course, because the dust jacket is destroyed, I threw one of the Chadbourne dust jackets on it. One thing I love about the Chadbourne dust jacket in this particular case is that the liner note, the dust jacket flap copy, is written by Scott Ian, lead guitarist of Anthrax, one of my absolute favorite bands. So love that. Love that. Only a couple more to show here. This is the book club edition of Lizzie's story. One of the few book club editions that's actually really kind of special. It doesn't have a dust jacket, has printed boards, but it comes in a slipcase with this paper banner thing on it. It's really cool. I liked it. I got it relatively cheap on eBay. You could get these pretty cheap. This is Stephen King's favorite book by Stephen King, and so it holds a place of value with him and with me. I love this story. I thought it was great. A lot of people didn't, but I did. And this is the book club edition. Very nice. Very, very nice. This is the UK edition of Black House. I think the cover just kicks all kinds of ass. I think it's much better than the US first cover. And the pages are all yellowing, you know. But this is a book I read on my honeymoon in Ireland when it was just out. I actually brought the U.S. first edition with me to Ireland. Then I saw this in a bookshop window, and I had to buy it there. So, because I love the cover. Just a better look at design. And then these are all, again, some of my favorite King books, first editions that I have. It was my first hardcover, so I don't have first editions in hardcover before it, but I did after that. I got all of them. Gerald's Game is a highly underrated King book, one of my absolute favorites, along with Misery and Needful Things. And I actually like Tommyknockers. A lot of people don't like Tommyknockers. I love it. You gotta love it. You gotta love it. So I have all these in on this shelf. This is sort of the foundation of the rest of my collection, but Gerald's Game is also a good movie on Netflix if you're up for a good movie on Netflix. And who isn't up for that? The Bachman books. This is the Plume trade paperback with Rage in there. I got that for Christmas one year. So that's it. That's the trade editions. Up next, I'll move along to the Grant editions. So if The Shining got me started on Stephen King, it had to be the Grant editions that got me hooked on limited editions. When I was 14, I was in a Crocs and Brentanos in Evergreen Plaza Mall, and I found a copy of The Gunslinger, which I didn't see anywhere mentioned as a Stephen King book, and I thought it was a fluke, and I was just, what the hell is this book? And I didn't have, I think the $35 to buy it way back then, so I hid the book in the stacks and came back when I had enough money, and it wasn't there. So I missed out on that book. It was probably a first printing, first edition, and but it got on my radar. I'm like, what is this Grant editions? What is this Gunslinger? What is this Dark Tower? And so began my quest. I just got a kick out of the art for the first time, seeing really beautiful art pieces in harmony with the stories, and the limited print runs, of course, and then signatures would come later. But for me, it was just the art married with the words that that created this elevated experience. And so I hunted them down, and now I have all of them except except for the last two. They're all trade editions. So anyway, You know, every shelf has to have shelf candy, right? I mean, no doubt. 19th edition provides a whole lot of my shelf candy. So they did this key that comes out of the drawing of the three, and they did this Roland Desk Chain King of Hearts playing card, this challenge coin. These bullets are actual ammunition. They have nothing to do with anybody. And this is a mono train ticket for Blaine the Mono. Very, very, very cool. So I love all that stuff. So check out 19th edition. My daughter also does handcrafted art pieces for me and just me for my shelves. And this is a bear she did for me. And then I thought, wow, that'd be awesome to go with the drawing of the three as a little shelf candy. Anyway, I don't know if you're familiar with the Grant editions. They're awesome. I have them in the order, and of course, I do slipcase side out to protect the books as much as possible from sun, from dust, from wayward eyeballs. And so I lined them up. Little Sisters of Alluria is sort of the first story. It's a short story. I put it at the beginning. It precedes Gunslinger, and then The Wind Through the Keyhole is actually book 4.5. So if I could put it between Wizard and Glass and Wolves of the Kala, I would, but I can't. I can't because I don't feel like cutting this slipcase in half and putting the book in between them. So I place it here. And then, of course, Song of Susanna and The Dark Tower. And then I have Black House and The Talisman. The Talisman's signed by Rick Barry. Black House is signed by Peter Straub and Rick Barry. But really cool. Little Sisters of Alluria here. My Grant editions have troubles. They've all had troubles. And Little Sisters of Alluria was one I had to actually pay to repair. The spine here was basically attached to the book block. So if you opened the book, the spine would concave in, completely opposite of how the spine should behave. So I had to get that fixed. I took it to a book restorer in Chicago. He fixed it for like $30. It was really cheap. But what's nice about this book is I have it's not a remark, but Michael Whalen signed it. It's the artist edition, and he did a doodle. So that's pretty cool. He didn't do it in all of them, just some of them. Some of them he did Crimson King, the Eye of the Crimson King, and then the Ka Wheel. So I love this book. This is a great edition if you don't have it. Another thing that's cool, and I keep in my books, this was old order form back in the day. This is how you used to order books. You didn't order them online. There was no online, really. Actually, I don't know at this point. There wasn't online, but most people were still ordering the old-fashioned way. So these are the Grant editions. I'm not going to go through each and every one of them because I want to show other books. But they're awesome. I think there are still gift sets of Black House and Talisman available, as well as the final book, The Dark Tower. Like I said, the Song of Susanna and The Dark Tower I have signed by the artist. Those are the artist editions. And as well as Wind Through the Keyhole. Wind Through the Keyhole is probably one of my favorite Dark Tower books. It's just such a great book, and Jay Lee did such exceptional artwork. So this is a great one. I love this. And again, it's signed. It's artist edition, and I believe these are also still available on online. So, and that's Lobo. Lobo has nothing to do with these books, but you have to guard your books, and he's the main man. And he'll kill a bass stitch, is what he'll do. So these books got me hunting for limited editions, and it was after I was well into the hunt that I discovered the next gateway portal down the rabbit hole for me. So after Grant, I started researching harder, and looking further, and I heard these names getting tossed around: Centipede Press, who did a Stephen King book, and Cemetery Dance, who is currently doing Stephen King books. And I think it was back in 2011. They got on my radar. I started checking them out. The first book I got from them was It. But after I got It, I subscribed in the newsletter, and the rest accelerated quickly. So I subscribed to the newsletter. They started coming out with more books. I started buying more books. And these are a few. You could see I have a lot of space over here. What's going to be over here? Oh, well, maybe more Cemetery Dance books. So I have to save my place. And I think it's kind of fun. I'm using these paperbacks as sort of filler, shelf filler. Also, sort of like bookends. But this was cool. My in-laws were moving out of their house, and we went through the attic and we found this. It's a Plymouth Fury nameplate. And if you know, Christine was a Plymouth Fury. So I had to have this. This is just awesome. I don't know what I could do with it. I don't have a deluxe edition of Christine. This is actually the only copy I've ever had of Christine, this badass paperback that I read back in the day. So I'm happy to have it, and this is cool. It goes with it. But yeah, I don't know what I could do with it. If I was a tray case or a slipcase maker, maybe I could do something with this, but I'd have to have an edition worthy of an authentic Plymouth Fury nameplate. So there it sits. Then, of course, I got It, Carrie, Gerald's Game. Again, these will be gone once I get the next Doubleday series book, which should be The Stand. I'm going to have an artist edition of that on this shelf. It should take up, I don't know, about that much space. So it's going to take care of a lot of room. My daughter made this, so that's that shelf candy. Here's the Grant edition of Desperation with Don Mace illustrations inside. It was funny because they found a bunch of these in their barn. I love it when publishers just suddenly find a book. And they had this sitting out there, so they sold it at published price, which I believe was like $75. So I got a copy. Here's more of that mail-in, old-fashioned way we used to order books. This is an errata sheet because there was a printing error. Like I said, my Grant editions have some troubles, but this particular book had troubles for everybody. So it's beautiful. I don't know if you've ever seen that. Desperation. The artwork is delicious. So this is, I am sorely due for a reread. Beautiful thick paper, you know, really nice stuff. Great book. So that's that. Here is more shelf candy provided by 19th edition. So he did the currency. So I keep that with my Stephen King Doubleday years. This is a CD Cemetery Dance refund check. I canceled some orders. Got a refund check. So it's a Richard Chismar signature. That's fun. This is cool. 19th edition. Overlook hotel key for room 217. I'm going to drive out to Estes Park, go to the Stanley, and see if this works. No, I'm not, because that would be admitting to breaking and entering. And then, yeah, everybody has these things. This is Funko Pop stuff. The Dorbs. I don't know if Funko Pop actually did these, but it's Dorbs. Cute murderers. Cute. Jack Torrance. But all that is for the main show, which are the Doubleday years and Revival by Stephen King. Revival's actually, Rose Madder I didn't finish, but Revival I hated. I read the whole thing. But this edition is so beautiful, I had to have it. Letterpress Publications. They're the only letterpress publication. Loaded with Francois Villancourt art. Great stuff, soon to be in a Suntup book for the Wolfen. Great stuff. and a very affordable edition. Actually has me rethinking a reread of Revival because, like I said, I did not like it. Carrie is the first in the Doubleday years. It took forever to sell out. This is the gift edition from Cemetery Dance. I bought this a long time after it was published. I really didn't plan on getting it, but once I started getting into the series, I had to get it. So here's the Salem's Lot gift edition. Big behemoth. Huge book with David Palumbo art in it, and some of the best art in a CD book right here. Love this artwork. I've seen somebody else show off their Salem's Lot recently in an unboxing video or a book tour video, and their spine is doing the same thing my spine is doing. It's like the page block is pulling the spine in. This is one of the only books I have that's doing that, and his book was doing the exact same thing. And I don't know if it's a common defect, but it doesn't really hurt the value of this book for me. I don't plan on selling it. I love this book. I read this book. It has loaded with extras. The paper is delicious. Really nice stuff. Really quality job from Cemetery Dance. And it's to be expected. I don't think the artist edition probably had a different binding, so I don't know if the artist edition had something like that concave spine. The spine's not attached to the book block like my Little Sisters of Alluria was. It's just the weight is so tremendous, it pulls forward, because you can see it doesn't have the same issue down here. Then my favorite book by Cemetery Dance, or my second favorite, The Shining Artist Edition. Just great book. I also have a Glenn Chadbourne remark in here. It's a tray case, so it's a little hard for me to get to and film and work the camera and all that. But I could try to show you. So there's the cover by Donald Mays, who also did Desperation, and I have this remark in here, signed by Glenn Chadbourne, 1 of 100. So love this book. This is my absolute favorite of the Doubleday years so far. Night Shift is great. I also have the artist edition along with a remark by Glenn Chadbourne in this. And I will show that to you thusly. So this is the artist edition dust jacket. And the Glenn Chadbourne remark is that 1 of 100 again to get the Glenn Chadbourne remark. I could have gotten a Chris Odgers, but I wasn't fast enough on the draw. So that does it for this video with the first editions, grand editions, and Cemetery Dance. Up next is PS Publishing and the Signed King, so stay tuned. Hey, there's other stuff you could check out or subscribe maybe. Think about it. It's an option. Costs you nothing. Do it.